Cash Flow Diary Podcast, episode 562.
Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Cash Flow Diary Podcast, the podcast that teaches you insider tips, tactics, and strategies for creating leverage streams of cash flow into your life. Learn from top-performing entrepreneurs, business owners, investors, and thought leaders from across the globe as they share their secrets to success. Like what you learn on this and other Cash Flow Diary podcast episodes? Go to learninvestingnow.com and sign up to receive powerful tips and information that will help you succeed as an entrepreneur and investor. Now, here's your host, investor, entrepreneur, business owner, educator, speaker, author, and master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow game, Jay Massey.
So for those of you watching for the first time, here's how this works. For most of you, when you type your questions, I'll be able to see that on the screen just right over there. For those of you inside of our student group, what we have is I've remembered this time to bring up my phone so that I should be able to see your questions. Yes, I see them. They're coming through, which is great. So you guys type your questions in the chat, or if you want to go to one of the public places on the Facebook page, Periscope page, YouTube, my Facebook profile, and all other places, make sure you type it in the chat and I'll be able to see it. And as you guys know, we also are going to be doing calls today. So if you want and you want to talk with me, you'd be able to do so. Just dial 417-352-2274. Again, 417-352-2274. We'll get you on the line. We'll be able to hear each other. Everyone will be able to hear you, and we can get your questions answered that way as well. So nonetheless, as I said, the show must go on. But simply meaning that there was a number of things that wanted to get in the way today to make it very challenging for me to come here. But we're here. So looking forward to see who's that first caller. I'm going to start checking the chat in just a moment. For those of you who this might be the first time that you're here, my name is Jay. Welcome. And Cash Flow Diary, what we've been doing for quite some time, is helping individuals transition to that entrepreneurship lifestyle. We don't just talk about it, we are about it, in the sense that we practice what we teach. So the strategy that we love to focus on is short-term rentals because, well, it's pretty awesome at the end of the day. And we want to make sure that what tends to happen for people is that they understand that as they're going through a process, they actually understand how to make that process their own because you're trying to become something completely different than what you used to be, right? You're trying to learn a new skill set. And unfortunately, you can't always just learn it in a boot camp or in a weekend. And we know it takes follow-up and support and more time. So nonetheless, oh my goodness, there's a number of people who seem to be calling in right now, which is good. And I kind of like it. So we will definitely get to the phones as well. And I see a number of questions over here. I've got questions over there. Who's that? Matt says, howdy, Danny. No call today, technical difficulties. Yes. Danny, I can count on one hand the number of times in the years we've been doing this where we've not actually gone live. Anytime if there's ever been, a delay or something, it's mostly because of technical difficulties. But what's also interesting is when you think about the level of technology today, the fact that we can do this at all really, really helps and makes it easier for me to do what it is that I like to do, which is serve in this particular way. Got it. So we have a call, and I see who it is, and I think this is really, really funny because he has been trying to track me down all day. So let's go ahead and go to the phones and let's find out. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm about to do this. I feel like I'm being set up or something. All right, Robert, what's going on?
You're completely being set up. This is wonderful. I love it. This is actually a perfect opportunity to ask those questions. I think everyone is going to benefit from the answer.
Oh, okay.
We're going to talk about pricing. And it's funny because Megan answered the phone, and she started laughing when she heard it was me. She's like, "What are you calling him for? Does he even know you're calling?" I said, "Nope, but I've been trying to get him all day long, and this is the perfect opportunity to do it." So,
well, it worked for my mom a couple of weeks ago too, so she did the same thing.
no, that's wonderful. I love that.
Yeah. Yep, it was awesome.
Okay, so here's the deal, and I'll explain it all so that everyone else that's listening can benefit from the answer as well.
Okay.
We currently use two different pricing platforms.
Right.
One of them being Wheelhouse, that is tied directly to Airbnb, and then the rest of our pricing comes from PriceLabs, which is tied into Lodgify, and then pushes out from Lodgify to our website, as well as Booking.com with a markup, and soon we'll also be going to HomeAway because we're joining the beta test program of the Lodgify to HomeAway API integration, which will also then mean that that same pricing will also be getting pushed to Expedia and Travelocity and Vrbo and all their other properties. So I say all that to say that my pricing in my brain is super convoluted now because I want to make sure that I'm netting the amount of money that I can net across all of those. And the reason I word it like that is because I know from experience that I can.
Hello?
And hold on a second.
I lost you for a second.
Okay, yeah, the other line was ringing. So anyhow, the reason I word it that way is because I know that I can theoretically, in a normal world, I can make the most on Booking.com, and then HomeAway, and then Airbnb. But my problem now is I want to start targeting people who would be renting our place for some type of insurance claim or insurance reason. So specifically talking with relocation companies who pay the absolute highest dollar. So if I'm using a tool like PriceLabs, which will moderate my price based on a low, a target, and a high, how do I first and foremost set up PriceLabs so that the price coming across to my website is good for the relocation companies? And then what changes do I make for the other websites in terms of markdowns to make sure that I'm netting the minimum amount that I want to net from the Booking.coms and HomeAways of the world?
Got it. Well, you said it exactly the exact way that I would think about it. And let me see if I can. Let me pull up a way to draw on the screen, because what you want to do. There we go. So what you want to do is something similar to. Okay, perfect. All right, so what you're going to do is something similar to what I'm drawing right now. You're going to have so you got PriceLabs is how I heard it here. Okay, and then that's going to Lodgify, correct?
Yes, and I'm actually trying to get video because I lost your video when I connected to my phone because I was watching on my phone. So I'm frantically trying to pull you up on Facebook right now.
Okay. Facebook's going to be a tad delayed, so it's going to look funny. It's going to feel funny.
Okay. How about YouTube then?
They're all going to be delayed.
What's your? Oh, got it.
So I'm writing it out, but the only anyway. So I'm writing it out so that you can see it, and if it's like I think, at least based upon what you described, then this is
okay. I see it now.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Can you get rid of your headshot in the window? I can't see some of what you're writing.
That's fine. So that's how I see it. Is that accurate? This is what you're talking about, right? Price Labs to Lodgify, your website, booking.com to HomeAway, and website is primarily being used for the direct bookings, like this.
Correct. Now, the direct booking also has two trees to it. One is pricing for relocation companies, and then one would be pricing as direct bookings for repeat customers from the other platforms.
Got it. So you're saying you have a relo here, and then you're saying repeat customers here. Is that correct?
Yep.
Of all of these,
yes, go ahead.
So of all of these that I'm highlighting right now, which one would have the highest price? The absolute highest price? I think I know the answer, but I just want to make
direct bookings to relocation companies.
Got it. All right. So then what I would do is that I would have Price Labs be reflective of this price.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say now, knowing that Price Labs works on a low, base, and high.
Mm-hmm.
If I want, let's say on a 2-bedroom, and I'm throwing out a number here for example's sake, but let's say I want to net $250 a night for a 2-bedroom from a relocation company.
Okay.
Where does that number go? Is that in the lowest column, or would that be in the base?
Okay, so what you're saying is you want to know where to put 250 because you know that at a minimum you want 250. Because if that's the case,
correct,
then that's going to be in the low.
Okay. Now, I guess the next question is, do I even fill anything in for the base? And the reason I ask that question is because I'm obviously going to be marking down for all the other platforms. And if I'm going to be marking down, how do I would do that if I know the range?
Number it's using.
Can you say that again, please?
I would fill something in for the base because otherwise you don't know what number it's going to be using. And you're going to want to know that. Because it's hard to do a markdown from an undetermined number. So, because otherwise the software Price Labs is going to impute a number, but what number is that? So what should the markdown be from that to anything else? I don't know, and neither would you.
Well, the markdown is from the price that's being populated into Lodgify, which is being dynamically generated by
that's exactly my point.
Labs.
But I would want to have an anchor for that dynamically generated price, as opposed to having even that price being dynamically generated, which again is fine, except you don't unless you're just okay with a flat delta between the two without actually knowing. Because here's the next question you're going to ask me is how do I make sure I net the right numbers from any of the other channels? And we're never going to know what that base price is that we're calculating from unless we put something there.
Yeah, so my thought was that if the lowest is 250, then I would figure out what I want to net from the others and do a markdown based on that.
Okay, you can do it that way. That's fine. That's completely.
And now my third concern is, let's say I get the price correct, let's say for a booking.com, for instance. Because this is something I've been dealing with recently where my pricing has been off on booking.com. It's actually been fine for an occupancy of 2, but as the price increases, it's far too expensive for 8 people. And I know I'll never get a booking because we're talking $450 a night in a 2-bedroom at a time where I know that I'm probably only going to make around, in the real world, a real reservation is going to come in around 300.
Understood.
So how do I account for the extra guest fees? And then the same thing with the relocation companies, right? So the relocation companies, they get a set number approved by the insurance company. If I have a family of 6 coming in, and they if I get so if I get like 5, 6 guests coming in from a relocation company, but now it's over budget, how do I actually mitigate that issue?
Always. Okay. So in general, you're in this situation, in all situations like this, because of the way things are connected, price for your highest possible outcome. Okay. So that anchors, so that way when the customer does their random search, what's going to happen is that they're going to see the highest price. Now, if someone books at that, awesome, great, wonderful. However, that's not your intent. You don't actually want that to happen. What you want to have happen is every customer to feel special, unique, and you're going to accomplish this either by giving them their own personal discount code or adjusting your markups in this case, markdowns, in order to make sure that the natural price that they see is closer to what it is that you actually want to obtain. So instead of trying to have an extra person fee that gets added on, have it already be what it needs to be, because that's going to assist the adjuster the most, because they'll be able to just go to the website and get the number. And what'll be great is that you'll always be in a position to help the adjuster look good, because they'll be able to say, look, if you just go to his website here, but because we have done blah, 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 this is what I was able to get, whatever that is. So price for the highest possible outcome, and then discount accordingly with because the functionality and Logify allows for the discount codes, etc.
So would you say then it would be more advantageous to say list that bedroom, then say that 2-bedroom instead of $250, perhaps at $300, and then provide the relocation company contact with, say, like a 20% discount code or something like that?
Absolutely, and it could also, because that will also help you begin to have some sort of rudimentary lead tracking as well, because that'll be interesting to see.
Understood. All right. Well, I will implement and let you know in a couple of weeks how it's turning out.
No doubt. I appreciate that. Thanks for tracking me down and teaching everybody else how to track me down. That's so awesome.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so see, if you've ever felt ignored, understand, he's one of my best friends, and this is the best. This is how he got me, all right? So I've been busy. Leave me alone. It's all good. Anyway, all right, so let's see. Eric says, I can hear you fine. Peter says, I'm glad the show is still on, but I certainly wouldn't have, I think is what you meant to say, held it against you if you had not today. I understand, Peter. Thank you. What is that? Jay Massey, is Hawaii out completely for nightly rentals? No, we have students there now. How much is this going to impact the economy in Hawaii? And what are the hundreds of people going to do that current properties that they have on Airbnb, VRBO? Okay, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to at this particular moment, David Hernandez. If there's something that happened today in Hawaii, I have not been made aware of it. But we have active people there now who will be active after. I don't know why they would ever stop, because it's Hawaii. So if there's something in particular that you know of, something new that was just passed in some way, shape, or form, then feel free to let me know, and I can definitely give you some thoughts on it. But ultimately, here's the thing that I want to say. You, David, are desiring to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs by default, by necessity, who we are the individuals who make decisions, even though the outcomes are 100% uncertain. Okay, the environment that every entrepreneur is playing in right now today is completely uncertain. And I don't really care what business it is. So let me say it in a more clear, direct way. Every business has regulations and changes. It's a part of business. So how are entrepreneurs going to respond? Some people are going to quit. That's what's going to happen. Some people aren't going to quit and figure it out. And other people are going to waffle back and forth until someone tells them what to do. And those sometimes get bought by other people. It's one of those three. How that looks and what that looks like and how you actually implement that changes from, company to company, time to time, and it depends on what it is that you're adjusting to. But at the end of the day, the entrepreneurs, we adjust. Ladero, Sheldon is operating in Hawaii. Yes, exactly. I couldn't remember. I was like, who is that person's name? I know there's more than Sheldon, but I know he's there. Tariq, how are you? Quick question. How do you price listings that require a minimum 30-day stay? That's an interesting question. What if there is a 15-day gap between 2 monthly reservations? Would you keep a 3-month booking window? That's an interesting question. And when it comes to pricing, Tariq, I'm not trying to blow you off, but I'm just also trying to make sure that everybody understands that pricing is by far the most difficult question. Oh my God, I forgot about the people on the phone. I'm coming right now. I totally forgot. Anyway, the quick question, pricing is by far the most difficult thing on the planet. So when you say, how do you price it? I don't know how to answer it because there are too many pieces, too much information. I can't give you a number. You have to have a pricing strategy, first of all. You also have to have a pricing methodology. You also are going to want to know, are you the Walmart, Target, or Nordstrom in the area? You're going to need to know your cost. You're going to need to know your break even. You're going to need to know what margin is acceptable to you for you to hit your ROI, especially if you have debt service in some way, shape, or form. There are too many other factors to be able to answer that question. But I can sum it all up by saying this: you're going to price it profitably. That I can tell you no matter what. And if there's a 15-day gap between 2 monthly reservations, then there would be a 15-day gap between 2 monthly reservations. I don't think I understand the question, other than I think what you're trying to say is you don't want to lose that revenue. So then what that means is that you need to get really good at revenue management and calendar management to do your best to prevent that from happening. So that's really what it comes down to. Like, for example, a simple strategy would be to offer the person who's leaving extra days at a discount, and you could offer the person who's arriving extra days at a discount. That could help begin to cover some of that gap in some way, shape, or form. There are many ways to cover gap days, but that's really, I think that's what you're asking me. And then, would you keep a 3-month booking window? I'm not even sure what you're referring to, but, well, I think I know. I'm guessing, Tariq, because again, the questions are kind of out of context. I'm assuming you're saying keeping your calendar open 3 months in advance. I think you're going to need to open it much further in advance, and that's also dependent upon what type of property you're using. So I don't know how big the property is. Like, the bigger the property, the more in advance you need to have it in general. So all of this is to say, who are you serving, Tariq? These are all questions, again, that we cover module 1 in a lot of our materials. All right, so I'm gonna get to the phone. I'm gonna do my best to get their question, get it quick. I see all the questions piling up. We will get them answered, but I wanna get to the phone real fast. And let's see who this is. Okay, I think I know. Hey, Dave, what's going on now?
Hey, how are you?
At this moment, I am okay and together. But before we go anywhere, I have to ask you a question. Last time we talked, we gave some very specific instruction. How much of that have you actually done?
Hello there, entrepreneur. This is Jay Massey, and what I want to say to you is that the number one mistake that I have ever made in business, number one, has been waiting too long to do the books, waiting too long to get the bookkeepers, the accountants, the CPAs, the CFOs involved, and I don't want you to make that same mistake. That mistake cost me over 6 figures, and now for a significant discount, you have the ability to get your books together using FreshBooks. So what I want you to do is I want you to go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. Again, that's gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary. FreshBooks is the easy to use software designed to help you, the small business owner, the freelancer, get organized and save time on invoicing, getting paid faster, keeping those books in order so that it becomes a bonus for you to do your taxes as opposed to a burden. Go over to gofreshbooks.com/cashflow diary and get started today. And now let's get back to the rest of the story.
I am striving every single day to do exactly what we talked about, which
Okay.
is perfect the process, make the process king, and not
So what is
me doing the work.
tangibly different than the last time? What could anyone observe and say, okay, since the last time, this is the progress that you made?
Since we've talked, I've done a lot. I have put all of the maintenance logins of all of the apartments in LastPass for my VAs to do.
Awesome.
I have given explicit instructions on how to deal with noise-aware, Nest, and August locks.
So some SOPs. That's good.
SOP, and probably about like 3 or 4 other things that I've been doing. I've handed over to VAs with like explicit instructions and Loom videos.
Awesome. Loom is awesome.
So now there's just like about 1,000 other things I got to give to them until I can sleep normally. But we're getting there.
Excellent. Then you may pass. What is your question, sir?
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, the lighting and video looks amazing.
Thank you.
Since you've
been a labor.
changed over, it looks great.
We're doing our best.
All right. My question today is, I know you have in our text that when we're looking for apartment buildings, for small apartment buildings, to drive to the neighborhood, look for help wanted signs, and look for owner operators or small property managers that are actually in the area. Some of us want to attract small apartment owners in areas that we're not close to.
What do you mean?
I'm looking for other neighborhoods that I'm not close to. I want to find small apartments in cities that are not in California that I want to expand to.
Got it.
And the usual way is through finding them through apartments.com, looking for the small apartments and apartments.com and Craigslist. Do you have any like tips or tricks or information on attracting or finding people without actually like driving like the neighborhood?
Got it. I see what you're after. All right, so I'll give you this one, and it will make you a ton of money if you use it. And for the rest of you, just tag along, catch up. Here we go. Are you familiar with LoopNet?
Yes.
All right, got it. So I'm not saying go on LoopNet and look at any of those properties. One of the basic things that I have always taught people to do is what happened? I'm trying to go on LoopNet. So when you go on LoopNet, one of the things that I am looking for myself isn't necessarily, we apologize, but the feature I'm just trying to access your homepage. Okay, so apparently their homepage is down right now. I was going to show you, but I guess I won't. Typically on LoopNet, what you do is if there's you sounds like you know the geographic area that you're after, which is good. So then what I would do is that I take that particular geographic area, look it up on LoopNet, and now I'm looking not specifically for the apartment building that are listed on LoopNet, but I'm looking to see who is listing the type of apartment buildings that I'm actually after. Or whoever the head honcho is in that particular area. Typically, they're going to be the ones with the most listings, sometimes the oldest listings, simply because they've been around a while. They've got stuff that has high days on market, et cetera, or cumulative days on market. And then I'm going to get on the phone and talk to them, not about that listing, but about the listings they have not yet put on the market, because they're going to be the ones to know and probably create the shortest time frame between contact to actual close, so to speak, in some way, shape, or form, of either who's in trouble or who's got the type of inventory that I'm looking for. Now, I understand you're not looking to buy it, but it's still going to be your fastest way to find it, because even if that particular realtor does not have something for you to purchase or doesn't have an immediate pocket listing, what they do know is who is the property manager, like the top 1, top 2, top 3 property managers of that particular class of real estate in that area. And they can at least give you that person's name, phone number, and information. And then obviously, once you get that person on the phone, you're going to do the same thing to find out which of their customers, their landlords, is having the issues that we can solve. Does that make sense?
I see. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. I appreciate that. So look at LoopNet to find.
Yep.
Just basically take it from there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but you're using LoopNet to find out who's at least somewhat decent at marketing, because the guy or gal that you're after who's going to have the information is someone who's decent at marketing. And if they're not even on LoopNet, they call themselves a commercial realtor, or if they're not even if they're not actively marketing, they're not in business. And you know this already. Yeah. So you want the person who's active. And because otherwise you then slant the information a little bit because you don't know the quality. It's a way of vetting the quality, quote unquote, of the information that you're actually going to get. Because if they're taking their business seriously enough to put dollars into the marketing that's actually effective instead of those silly shopping cart signs, then you'll know.
Okay, I'm going to definitely work those leads. I appreciate it. Have you ever marketed to landlords?
I try to avoid direct marketing at all costs because it's always proven to be more expensive and take too long.
Okay.
That's just, that doesn't mean it doesn't
really
work.
Appreciate it.
I don't like it.
Okay. And have you expanded outside of Southern California yet? I know you're going to get like a bunch.
The intention is to do so, but we have not as of this particular moment. Stay tuned. Okay. Trust me. You'll know when.
All right. Okay, well, thanks again.
No problem.
Awesome talking to you.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, let's see. We've got some more questions that have come in. This is good. Let me see if Ed Zoll. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I'm sorry. I'm so glad you're doing these Facebook Lives. You're welcome, Ed. I'm here literally for you. That's like why we're doing it. Let me see who else is that. Sumaita Kabir. I tried, and if I messed it up, and if I said something totally foreign in your language, then please forgive me. How would you approach private money lenders to lend for short-term rental business without leverage? How would I approach a private money lender to lend without leverage? I literally don't understand. Lending is leverage. What do you mean? Please restate that question. Otherwise, my brain is going to explode because I have no clue what you're trying to ask me right there. How has your faith affected your business outlook? That's an interesting question, Ed. Ed, you're now becoming an interesting person to me. My faith is a major reason why I'm even in business. And just to keep it brief, but what it comes down to is that too much has been given, much will be demanded, much is expected. If you've been given any talent, I don't care how many talents, but if you've been given any talents, the expectation is that the least you would do is double it. And that's just the path that I've been on. I don't know how to be faithful without attempting to double it. It doesn't matter whether you succeed or not. What matters is that you attempt. What matters is that you believe you could. What matters is that you do something. And this is just a way of how I express that faith. I mean, just simply going live is an expression of that same faith that someone's going to watch beyond my mom, and that somebody's going to get inspired. Someone's going to actually pick up themselves up and do something. All of that takes faith. Anyway, Marshall, what's up? Can you offer daily, nightly rentals between monthly rentals? I think what you're tagging on, Marshall, I'm guessing, is that if you're in a 30-day market, can you offer daily, nightly rentals between monthly rentals? Probably not. However, if you're not with some other minimum day restriction, I don't see why that would be a problem in any way, shape, or form. So, Ladero, what's up? Same here. I needed to offload a ton of the tasks that I do over daily to VAs. drowning in daily mini task projects that will benefit in the future, but not daily money making activities. Yes, and for all of you, this is absolutely something that you can get trapped into doing because they're small tasks that don't feel like they take up a lot of time. And indeed, they may not. They may not physically take a lot of time. But when you're doing 15 of them every day, and then you have another 15 of a completely different kind every day, that time adds up. And worse, it occupies your mental space. As the entrepreneur, the most important thing you've got to do is to understand what is the highest and best use of your time. You have a responsibility to those who you employ, to those who you serve, and you've got to make sure to protect that opportunity. And sometimes that means delegation. Well, often it means delegation. So make that happen. Awesome. I think I got those questions. So let me go over to the Facebook group now. We're going to get your guys' questions, and then I'm going to check the phone one more time and see what we've got going on there. Let me see. Steven says he likes the music. Awesome. Yes, I need to spit some cash flows. Nope. That would take something really special happening, Steven, for that to go down. Sounds like it. Let me see. Daylon, how are you? Long time no talk since Saturday. Orlando's regulations are super tight. Yep. And won't allow for non-owner occupied short-term rentals. Okay. Essentially, the owner has to be present and only 50% of the rooms available can be rented out. Okay. So this is getting interesting already. The regulations are a little more relaxed outside of Orlando's county, but they are further away from Disney and Universal. Any thoughts? Oh, okay. Got it. So Daylon, here's the situation. I have a very similar situation out here with Anaheim, and I just go right next door to the city, literally right next door. That's honestly, in my opinion, the best, easiest solution. Yes, it's a little bit further, and as that continues, that's just where the marketplace is. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. Understand that all entrepreneurs are playing, in theory, on that same level playing field. Now, that does give those owner-occupied individuals an advantage. It does give them that. And there's one other thing you could do, is you could build an entire owner-occupied business. What you would want to do, if you want to get more information on that, let me see, we have a podcast, cash flow diary. I'm trying to remember. Cash flow diary podcast episode 320. Cash flow diary podcast episode 320 with Sue Hoyela. I have probably messed up her name, but that is her entire business model, is working with owner occupieds and creating space in their space for her to run and operate the business. So definitely connect with her. She could probably give you some more advice if you really, really think you have to be that close to Orlando. I don't think, or to Universal and Disney World. I think you can still do it sitting next door, because that's pretty much how we roll out here. All right. Hey, Rock, what's going on? What's up, Jeremy? Sean, what's going on? It says, Jay, how do you handle FOB to enter gated? FOBs. Got it. It's FOB, not FOP. That's why I was like, what is that? To enter gated community, as most apartments are gated. Well, management, let me put a lockbox on or near the gate. What if they don't allow that? Got it. Okay, Sean. So I happen to remember that I believe you were present this past Saturday when we were doing our initial training. We went over this, but I will repeat it really quickly. Anytime you have the key fobs or the gate remotes or all those other things, at the end of the day, here's what you're going to do. You're going to put those items inside the unit, okay? Assuming that the answer to the following question is something that's acceptable to you. And if you remember, Sean, on the property evaluation worksheet, we have that entire sheet of checklist of questions. Here is one of them. You're just going to ask them, when you order food, like if I ordered pizza, how does the pizza delivery guy get to the front door? Once you've answered that, then you're good. If they have a process for how the pizza delivery guy gets to the front door, whatever that process is, is what your guest is going to have to do the first time. After that's done, inside the unit should be all the key fobs, the gates, the remote controls, or whatever else passes that they might need, all right, in order to make that happen. If for some reason that is not possible, and here's the answer you don't want. The one answer you don't want is, oh, you have to come downstairs and meet them. That's the answer you don't want. Okay? When you hear that answer, that's when you have to get really creative. And sometimes it can be something as simple as a lockbox, but oftentimes either the management or the ownership doesn't like the look of lockboxes or a string of lockboxes on the property. So that then becomes an issue later. So you have to get creative. All right. So, and I've gotten creative before, so creative, in fact, that in one case we've actually built, like physically built, had a wall constructed, ran electricity, all kinds of things, just to build a space to where the guests can come get their keys. Okay. So I'm not saying that that's what you need to do, especially if you're only talking about one unit. But at the end of the day, it's the answer to that question that's going to determine everything. All right. Let me check the phone. Whoops. Checking the phone again. Yeah. Oh, wow. There's more people. Got it. All right. So let's go over to, looks like this is Russell in Minneapolis. Russell, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Jay.
Hey, what's going on?
Okay. So I'm looking at acquiring a property and maybe doing a single-family home for short-term rental.
I thought apartments.
They were, but this one is my neighbor's house. Like I can see it from my kitchen window. So,
okay.
And it's a smaller house, and the guests I'm looking to serve are people building homes like one city over. And I've had a couple guests in my apartments where they've stayed for 2-3 months. So now I'm looking to acquire this house, fill it, keep it pretty simple. And then now I've offered a couple financing options, so I'm not sure. I'm kind of stuck.
Okay, so what question? Help me understand. What specific, are you stuck on the financing, or what are you stuck on?
I've never done single-family homes, right? So it's a 30-day minimum in the city that I live, and I'm used to working nightly rates, right? So
got it. Well, okay, so now you have a completely different system and a completely different marketing way of marketing. You realize that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm calling. I'm trying to look like, should I do this?
Okay.
What do I got to look for?
Well, and that, okay, so here's, and again, you've known me long enough now to know that I'm just going to shoot you very straight. You have 9 units. Right now, are those 9 units in a situation where they're operating 100% without you no more than minimal time from you, let's call it 30 to 90 minutes a day?
No.
Okay. And if they were, would those 9 units be producing an income that would be sustainable enough for you to live on, for you and your new baby, I didn't forget, okay, and everybody else to live on? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So because I don't want you to undergo the work of building a brand new marketing system for this one unit, I would stay closer to what you've already done until those 2 conditions that I just said. So let me rephrase. If you had said to me, hey, Jay, I'm making up numbers right now, but I've got 30 units, and these 30 units, they're operating pretty much on their own. It takes me maybe 30, 90 minutes a day. I'm pretty good at this moment. I've followed all the pieces. I've got everything implemented. I'm kind of bored. Maybe I'm looking at trying this for the first time. What do you think? My answer would be completely different, because the amount of emotional, mental, physical energy that it's going to take you to build something all for 1 unit of production. This is what I'm trying to stress here. 1 unit of production is going to be challenging for you. Here's the other situation in which I would be giving you a different answer. If it was your very first unit and you had no other obligations on your time from the other 9 units. So if this was your first unit and this is where you were starting, then that would also be fine, because you got to build something anyway. But do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I got to perfect the systems more.
The highest return on your time is to double down, literally, on what you've already done.
Yeah.
And that's what you should do, which means, yeah, this is an opportunity, and you need to I would let it go to somebody else.
Even
Now,
if I kept it as a long-term rental.
What's that?
Because even if an exit strategy was just keep it as a long-term rental.
Well, you could, okay, sure. Now, if you're going to do that, then that's fine. That's close. That's very akin to what you do every day anyway.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that,
I'd love
because that's not going to you're not going to be providing furniture. You're not going to be doing, you know what I'm saying? You're not doing something.
Yeah.
You're not building a whole new thing just for that.
Okay, I get that. Got that. And then one more seed I want to plant, the idea I want to just revisit, not talk about now, but for you to start thinking about again, is going after stranded travelers.
What do you mean? Like at the airport?
Yeah. I guess marketing towards stranded travelers.
Do you have the connections at an airline that could make that happen?
I got one person, but I'm thinking I'm going to be flying out a couple weeks, so I'm thinking about going early to the airport and just going to customer service reps and picking brains and seeing, hey, how do you guys transfer?
If you can get in there, it's a great idea. I like it. I mean, like if you can become some sort of preferred vendor in that regard, that's a great idea. My concern, though, is typically, like in that situation, the stranded traveler, that's going to happen at your, late at night or inclement weather, et cetera, in some way, shape, or form. In theory, you should already be occupied, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a benefit you'll actually be to the airline when the majority of the time that you call them, you're going to be, I don't have anything for you. Like, how many times are you going to keep calling you so that you can only tell them, I don't have anything for you? And even if you did have something for them, you might be able to take, one, maybe two families at the most? They got an entire plane.
Yeah. It'd be a random orphan day, too. So, and happen to fall on.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be so hit and miss. I mean, that's worse odds than Vegas.
Okay.
So, I mean, try it, but that's what I'm thinking.
Got it.
Or better yet, try it, then go get a 50-unit building.
All right. I like that idea, too.
I don't want Melissa to kill me, so let's pretend that I didn't say that.
Once the systems are in place, she won't kill you. She'll be like, that's a great idea, Jay. That's awesome.
Oh, well,
but
okay.
That's way down the road. Way down the road.
Yeah. Okay. Either way. You know what I was,
right.
But you get where I'm coming from.
Yep. I got to perfect systems more before I start building out new marketing strategies.
Okay, cool. No problem. Let me get to the next one. Or was that it? That was it, right?
That's it. Thank you.
All right, cool. No problem. All right, Michael, you're up. Here we go. Let's see. Michael, I believe I got you. You're live. How are you doing, sir? You're in Denver?
Hey, Jay. Yeah, I'm in Denver right now.
Mike. This is Mike. I'm not used to I've never Michael. So it's weird. I'm like, it's a new Michael from Denver, and then it's not.
Right. It's me.
It's all good. So, what's up?
Yeah. Man, sending love first off, you're in my prayers, brother.
No.
Yeah. So we're having these inquiries from Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
My smart B&B responses are being off. So I'm getting, that's happening maybe 4 or 5 times where I'm getting inquiry from a potential guest, and they have a question that my automated message doesn't address. And so I have to go in there manually to readdress the question, and by then I've lost them. So I've not got a response from any of these people that are just giving me inquiries. So I was just wondering about if there's a way to intercept them better before that happens. I did program a message.
You know there is, and you know there is, right? You know there is, and you know I know they don't you?
I do. That's why I'm stoked. I'm stoked to see what happens.
Okay. So inside, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up for you right now, or at least on the screen. Hold on, what's going on? I'm trying to log in. Give me a second. But inside of the messaging component, of Smart B&B. What you have access to is something that they call questions. And inside there, all right, what you have the ability to do is to actually, for lack of a better word, pre-program some answers to common questions, right? Something that an automated message doesn't handle. And you also have the ability to train it to recognize questions it does not already recognize. Does that make sense?
All right. Yep.
So in theory, I'm willing to bet that some of the things that you have received or the questions that you've been asked, they kind of repeat or they're along a similar theme. You know, can I get a discount? And does this place have parking? And that type of stuff. All of those can be programmed so that inside what is your standard automated response, if the system also sees that that question comes, it will literally insert an additional paragraph inside your normal response and send all of that with their answers to them. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yep.
So that's the feature that you're looking for inside messaging. I was unsuccessful in bringing it up right now. Okay, hold on. Let me try one more time on this browser. I'm using a different browser at the moment and that could be my.
And Jay, when you talk about the uncertainty of an entrepreneur, you're not lying. Especially with the model of this 30-day minimal short-term rental.
Yeah.
But still, even with that uncertainty, it's not, the numbers are still not lying to us. We've still been full the whole time we've had anything open, and now we have the next unit that we've opened up, and it's tomorrow. It has guests coming in for 66 days. And
did you say 66 days? That's awesome.
Yeah, it's working. It's really working. And my other challenge is with the what is it? The messaging on how. I'm forgetting. I'm spacing it out. Forgive me.
That's okay. Take your time. Okay. I'm still on my iPad here. Did you figure it out or no?
No, I'm still trying to find it in my brain. Well, I guess I can ask next week. I don't want to.
He's like, I'll just ask next week. I totally understand, and I get that. So I think I got it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up. Come on, go. Going to. There we go, and bring up messaging. Okay, I did not get it. I thought I got it, but I did not get it. But inside the messaging section is what you're looking for, and then you're looking for questions, and then you want to focus on questions and custom code. One of the other things that I would do is that in the lower right corner on your screen, you have the little help thing. One of the best things that I appreciate about what Pierre and the team have put together is their ability to respond to questions. And I don't know if you saw the AMA he did earlier today, but he's just, again, indicative of how the company is run from the entire time. So I'm very confident that you will get your answer, because I know myself or our staff, we literally talk to them every day, every other day, and we're constantly getting the feedback and answers to whatever questions or concerns that we have as well. But good job on the 30 days, and good time considering so many people were asking me that today.
Yeah, it worked. I remember that question, Jay. It was
go for it.
The address. So the new booking we got with our new unit, it sent the old address to them. Our first unit address, so is there somewhere where I'm able to program that response for each booking?
Yes, absolutely. Any of the messages you can be as granular as you want, meaning the messages can, in and of themselves, be only tied to one unit. You can have them tied to all of your units. And when you have that's tied to all of your units, you have to use a placeholder, which they call a custom code, And that placeholder, in this case, would be the different address for the different locations. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's what would need to happen in this particular case, which is one of the most powerful features of Smart B&B, is the fact that you're able to use these variables and various nested ways. I mean, because not only can you use custom codes in a standard message, but you can use the custom code in a standard message and have that custom code have a condition. For example, one of the ways that we do this is with our 2 bedrooms specifically. Anytime someone makes a reservation on a 2 bedroom, but yet lists themselves as a party of 1, we have an automated message, or an automated message, that gets inserted that says, hey, this is a 2 bedroom. Your reservation is for 1. And then it reminds them of, the penalty for not having the correct number of people stated in the reservation, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But if it's a 1 bedroom, we never need to send that. So it never goes out on 1 bedrooms. But being able to do that, man, that's the magic. How do you think I get down to 90 minutes a day? If that, do you understand? This is part of it right here, is being able to make that happen. Cool?
Yeah, definitely. Cool, Jay. And is there scripts for available for the responses and all that? Are we coming up?
The messaging templates are going to be added to all of the mastermind students' back office. So stay tuned. We'll let you know when those get released. But yes.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. Thank you, Jay, man. We love you, brother.
Thank you. No problem, Mike. Be good. All right. So let's get back to some of your questions. I see them coming in because they're coming in hot and fast. All right. So let me see what's on here. Bradley says, well done, good and faithful. Thank you. It's so funny when I'm literally just reading what you guys are saying, right? And then all of a sudden I get it. Then I get it. As I'm reading, I'm like, oh, got it. And then Shot says, thanks, Jay. I observed that cars that can't get in through the gate just wait there for resident cars to open the gate and then follow through the gate. I guess for the first time guests, this will have to do likewise. That is definitely one of the options. It's not necessarily the one that I recommend. Again, as I said earlier, I would totally go ask them, how does food delivery? Because the food delivery guy has to get there. Amazon Prime has to get there. It gets there somehow. Well, not Prime, but Amazon Prime Now. They get there somehow. And you want to know what that is. And if that is what it is, then okay, that's fine. But my suspicion is that there's another way that only the food delivery guy knows. All right. And if you don't ask, they're not going to volunteer. They're not going to volunteer it. All right. So let's see. And then stranded travelers will only be for 1 night. Oh, that's another good point, Bradley. You're right. It's not like they would be there for an extended period of time anyway. They would only be there for 1 night. So I guess, Russell, you would have to charge, a really large premium in order to make that work in some way, shape, or form. That would be a massive premium, to make that work. But that's what you would have to do. Okay, let me see. Those are the questions there. Let's go back over here. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Lots of questions coming in today from Facebook. Let me see. I've got that one. Eric, what does this say? It says, should I be talking to everybody and sharing my vision, or are realtors, property managers, government officials, other potential competitors blocked? Should I be out talking to everybody and sharing my vision, or are realtors, property managers, potential competitors? Got it. Now I understand. Okay. So Eric, I wouldn't be stressed over competitors. All right. Because if you remember from what we went through on Saturday, there's so much to who do you want to serve that it's really hard for there to be that competition, right? It's no different than what we talked about with restaurants, right? It's one thing to say I'm gonna open a restaurant. Oh, cool. Well, what type of restaurant? Well, Italian food. And if it's the only Italian food restaurant, but yet the rest of the city has a ton of restaurants, then it doesn't matter. But then you have, if there are other Italian food restaurants, are you the Walmart, Target, or Nordstrom of that particular genre? And are you in the right particular section of town for that? Are you the Walmart, Target, and Nordstrom on that side of town? Because you can have on the other side of town, again, the exact same thing. So it would be very challenging for me to see any of those individuals as competition. If anything, realtors can become great lead sources for, in some cases, apartment buildings and properties. Property managers definitely, okay? And both of them can become sources for tenants, for sure. And government officials can also become lead sources for tenants simply because the government has an intense need for temporary housing because all of those people travel, right? They fly into town. And anyway, your government has a lot of need for travel. So again, I don't necessarily see those as competitors. Nikki, how are you? Do you suggest container spaces? Oh, got it. That's a unique use case. I've looked into that myself. I thought it would be neat. So let me catch shipping container short-term rental. First of all, was it Nikki? One of the things that I want to say is I don't call it. One of the things I just want to say, if I say nothing else, is let's call it short-term rentals as opposed to a Airbnb. Airbnb happens to be a distribution channel. Okay, it's not your business. Now, for everyone else, what she's referring to is being able to take things like this particular shipping containers like it, turning them into qualified actual places to stay. Shipping container house. Like so, where you've got some pre-built kits that you can find and buy and take those shipping containers and turn them into actual residences. It's a great idea. I've not executed it. I've thought about it though. So I don't see why, I'm not sure the question, but when you say, do you suggest it? If you are the person who wants to serve that customer who's looking for that experience, I don't see why not. I have no reason to say don't do it, right? If that's something that you're interested in, Nikki, if that's what's going to get you specifically excited, fired up, and put you in a position to where you're willing to do what it takes to be the entrepreneur that's inside, the entrepreneur that's begging to come out, because that's where that question comes from. That question comes from, I want to do something, and this is what I think I can do about it. So the question is, Nikki, do you believe enough? Not do I believe enough, because I'm not going to be the one doing the work. I can help you with the systems. I can help you think through some things. So can all the students. But do you believe? If you believe it, then there's really not much left to ask, here, because, and I'm sure you've seen this by now. People are staying in, I've seen taxis, I've seen missile silos. I think there was a potato once, definitely an airplane hangar, just all kinds of stuff. So if you're going to create the experience, then let's go do, create the experience, make it happen, period. All right. Because there's something inside of you that's begging to come out. Let's see what we got. Jason Johnson. What does this say? Jason Johnson, where'd it go? Must be just rented out. Must be just rented out or timeshare on Airbnb over Labor Day weekend. Was curious if anyone in the group has taken this route, and can you make reservations even if you do not have the points? You would have to pay for them at a reduced rate. Got it. I think I understand where you're coming from, Jason. And Jason, long time no talk. How are you? And yes, it is possible, but there are extra concerns that you are already bringing up. If you're going to leverage remnant space or space with a larger organization to be able to rent out, the timeshares, et cetera, 100% possible, but it's way more complicated and a lot less automated simply because you have to manage the weeks and the times carefully, which means you got to do lots of calendar management. But again, not saying it can't be done, just saying there's more logistics, there's more moving pieces. Now, the good thing is you don't necessarily have to put up a cleaning crew. Your facility's maintenance is kind of taken care of. But on the opposite end, there are some interactions with the customer right? Because remember, if you put if they found your reservation or found your location, whatever platform they found you on, they're going to be reviewing you, and you have no control over what happens once they cross that threshold, right? So that could become problematic for your business long term. So just something to think about at the end of the day. All right. Whoa, good Lord, there's a lot of you today, and I like it. Ladero, we have tried running a system like this, but running our current system of 20 units plus adding the timeshare aspect. Oh, this is perfect. So I guess he was paying attention. Thank you, Ladero, for catching this. And again, what he's saying the same thing. So feel free to catch up with Sue because she might be able to help you. Love from Boulder, Colorado. What's up? And E.B. Eblen, I'm not even sure how to say that. Jay, would you suggest doing more one-off Airbnb rental, more one-off short-term rental? For example, if you Google Treehouse Airbnb Georgia, I've heard the owner on a podcast and figured guests are staying for the experience. Yes. You're probably new around here, and that's cool. That's why you said that. Now I understand, because I was confused for a second. So let me talk to my real estate people for a second who think it's actually about the real estate. It's not. It's about the experience at the piece of real estate, period. So yes, if you want to do something exotic, and I tend to classify them in three different ways. You've got your urban, right? You've got your exotic, and you got your rustic. What you're talking about here, if you're talking about a tree house, that's what I call the exotic experience. It's something unconventional where you get to do something, like that's where I meant the taxis and all this other stuff. Knock yourself out. If that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with it, okay? And that's just not the model we're after. Entrepreneurs want to build and scale something so that they can produce the cash flow and then go buy more real estate or make other investments, whatever that might be. That's really where we shine. We can give you the systems to run it all. That's for sure too. All right. Let me see. I don't see anybody on the call. So it looks like one of my team or somebody was trying to get a hold of me.